Yeah, a couple more transfers though. A couple more transfers happened today. That Tonali one, dude. Tonali is one of the most underrated midfielders in Europe, and him going to Newcastle is going to absolutely unlock Bruno Guimaraes.
I actually agree with that.
One of the things that were holding them back last year was, as good as they were as a defensive team, they were struggling to unlock a lot of they were not struggling, but they just, in the close, tight games, they weren't able to create as much because they were worried too much on their defending, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like that was primarily because their main creative outlet is Bruno G, right? Mm-hmm. And so with him, having him as your CDM and having him as one of the deepest players in your system, it's good because he's athletic and he's so good that he could cover for that role as well. But his main role should be a little bit higher as an 8 in that pitch, right? Not being the deepest player. And so having Tonali there would allow him to float upfield. Dude, the shit that he was doing with Paquetá in Lyon were insane. Insane, right? I don't watch Ligue 1 a lot, but I have to start watching it because of how good they were, right? And then once they left, I stopped watching that shit again. I'm telling you, Ligue 1 was good in that one season where Lille won. Where Lille won. That season was incredible. I was watching Ligue 1 a lot because that was the season Ligue
1 was on BN Sports mostly, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the pirating I'm talking about. But Bruno with Tonali is going to be really, really good. I'm really interested to see how that's going to work. Whether Joe Linton is going to still play there. I don't know if they're going to stick in a 3.
I didn't even think about him.
I don't know if they're going to stick in a 3 or if they would switch into a 4-2-3-1. That's what I'm saying about, like, they're targeting like a Madison kind of player. So if they do get Madison, I don't understand Joe Linton in that. Maybe as a rotation player, I can understand it.
Yeah, because
as a starter, it would be Tonali.
I think Newcastle should be kind of rough on this, and it says like be more reluctant to play players that they're just buying at the moment than like keep players that are right. Because I feel like right now Newcastle's in like a very unique stage. I feel like where could I put Newcastle? I haven't seen something like this because I feel like I was watching football and City was upcoming, but I feel like City was already like established very quickly. But I think Newcastle's at a very unique point where it's either make it or break it. I think this summer transfer, like, they better make the right moves or they're either not going to ever be back in that conversation or they're just going to thrive from where they were this season, you know? And
I feel like they can't really make mistakes where they're at right now.
Right.
Because it's not like they're going to digress. The players that they have are like young enough and they're at the right age where they're not going to really digress.
You feel like, okay, what do you think is the difference between this Newcastle team, like Leicester's Premier League, Champions League? Like,
just the funding in general. Just the fund, like who have we talked about that's a big money signing Leicester made ever?
They're all homegrown players, to be fair.
Ever, not even homegrown players, but even when they're bought for cheap prices, right? They sold Conte for $50 million or $50 million. Hold on, not dollars, but $50 million, $60 million, right? What did they do with that? They went and bought what's that nigga? I forgot his name.
Who's talking about?
The other Mendy.
Who's talking about?
They bought another Mendy.
Yeah.
They bought another Mendy, and then they bought was it Paxton Daka, or no? Before that, I think it was Harrison. They bought a couple other players. I think they bought Fofana with that money.
Yeah, they did.
They bought Fofana with that money as well, and they bought a couple like little players, right? And then they went into the next season. They did well, and then they sold a couple more players. They sold Mahrez. They sold Danny Drinkwater. Mahrez was like $60 million. Danny Drinkwater was like $40 million. That's like $100 million right there.
But I think
but what did they spend with that? Then they spent it on Paxton Daka. Then they spent it on some like bum players. You get what I'm saying?
They didn't
bum players.
But I was trying to say compared to Mars,
like young players.
Yeah.
But then you look at Newcastle, and what did they do? They went and got statement signing instantly. They got Bruno G instantly. They went and got Kieran Trippier instantly. Yeah. They went and got Sven Botman. You get what I'm saying? They went and got big players. They didn't get little players. You get what I'm saying? They didn't get unheard of names. They got big players. And then Leicester again this season, what they do? They went and sold Wesley Fofana. So who'd they get? So who'd they get? Wout Fez? Do you get what I'm saying?
Like, come on. What type of trade?
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like there's a proper investment and there's improper investment. Leicester did not invest properly at all. They had a good system going.
They did.
They sold their great players, and what they had to do was reinvest that into good players. They didn't. And so what did they do? They went backwards.
And they're downfall. Now they're in the second league.
Simple as that. And the crazy thing is, they had a good enough team where they could have competed last year. I just don't know what it was. It had to be Brendan Rodgers. It had to be something like, you get what? Like, it couldn't have just been the players, because the players were good enough. Damn it, the players were good enough. Yuri Tillemans, like, who would have seen that drop off in form from Ndidi, Wilfred Ndidi?
No one.
You kidding me? 2 summer windows in a row, he's been touted for a move to Manchester United for about $80 million. He does, and then now he's just a bum. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like there's so much wrong with that club that you can't really compare it to like others. Yeah. Like, they were doing so well to have digressed. It's not like
the digression was crazy.
And it was all they're doing. You get what I'm saying? It's not because we took all of their. It's not like we took their players for cheap. We overpaid for a lot of their players.
I agree.
A lot of people overpaid. We're not even talking about Ben Chilwell for damn near $60 million. Like, we're not talking
for $60 million at that time too was crazy.
Like, Leicester sold a lot of players for a lot of money, and they could have rebuilt their team a lot better. That's their doing and their fault.